The topic everybody knows and loves, photosynthesis. So energy in most food that we eat comes either directly or indirectly from the sun, which is super cool. So if you're eating a plant, it comes directly from the sun. If you're eating an animal, then it comes indirectly from the sun. So plants are super cool, and they are able to use the sun's light energy to make their own food. They can make their own food. So they are called autotrophs. Those are organisms that can make their own food. Alright, so auto means self, just like an autobiography is a biography about yourself. And troph means nourish or feed. So examples of autotrophs, hey, are plants and algae. So when we're talking about cells and we're talking in terms of energy, the cell's energy is called ATP. So cell energy equals ATP. And ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Tri means 3, and you see here it has 1, 2, 3 phosphates attached to it. Alright, and having it is like having a charged battery. You're ready to go. The uncharged version of ATP is called ADP, adenosine diphosphate, where it only has 2 phosphates, so it needs 1 more to be completely charged. And in order to get charged up, you eat food to break it down to get some ATP for yourself. So in a nutshell, photosynthesis is using the energy of the sun to convert water and carbon dioxide into sugars and starches for itself. So the prefix photo means light, and synthesis means to make. So we're using light to make something. So we're using light to make sugar or glucose. And of course we got here today because of many, many contributions of many, many scientists, not just one. Alright, here goes. You need to know this equation. Alright, so the photosynthesis chemical equation is 6CO2, that should be a little 2, or carbon dioxide, plus 6 H2O, or water molecules, in the presence of light. Remember that arrow means yields C6H12O6, which is glucose, plus 6O2, which is oxygen. Remember plants give us oxygen? Well, this is how. Alright, here is my beautiful tree in my beautiful backyard. And I'm going to go ahead and diagram photosynthesis for you using this beautiful tree and this nice looking sunset. So here we got the sun's rays. Alright, that's important. We'll come back to that. We have our roots, which uptake the H2O, suck up the H2O from the ground. Okay, and then also the leaves take in CO2. Alright, so you need all those things in order for photosynthesis to happen. And believe it or not, it all happens right here in the leaf. They're the most important. They're the photosynthesizers. Okay, so what happens is this sunlight gets in contact with this here leaf after it's taken in this carbon dioxide and this water, and it ends up turning those molecules into oxygen and glucose. Now the glucose it uses for itself, but the oxygen we get to breathe. So look at this. This is what we exhale. They breathe it in. They exhale oxygen. We breathe that in. Perfect relationship. A little bit of review for you. Inside the leaves, inside the plant cells, you remember the organelle that makes it green? Alright, looks like chloroplast. So this here is a chloroplast. So inside the chloroplast is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is this super important plant pigment that absorbs light. So it's the reason that, absorbs light. It's the reason that photosynthesis is possible. So chlorophyll is super important. It's a plant pigment that absorbs light, and it's found in these little stacks of, I don't know, they kind of look like pancakes. And the whole stacks are called grana, but a chlorophyll, these are found in a thylakoid. Here's another picture of a beautiful, what? A beautiful chloroplast. Yeah, okay, so a thylakoid is each individual, penny or pancake, whatever you want to think about it. A stack of pancakes is called a granum. Alright, the little space inside is called the stroma. There's a couple membranes, and here's a little side view for you of these stacks of thylakoids inside the chloroplast. There are two parts to the photosynthesis reaction, the light-dependent and the light-independent. The light-independent reaction is also called the Calvin cycle. Okay? The light-dependent reaction depends on light or requires light. So in the light-dependent reaction, oxygen is produced, and you can think about it like the batteries are charged. So light-dependent reactions, oxygen is produced and the batteries are charged. In the light-independent reactions, or the Calvin cycle, it uses the charged batteries to produce the sugar. So the Calvin cycle uses the charged batteries to produce the sugar, and this part does not require light, so this can happen in the dark. Here's a beautiful picture of parts 1 and 2. Okay, so part 1 takes place in the thylakoids, alright, so the light reactions. So it takes in water, it produces oxygen, and oh look, it's charging the batteries. Okay, so part 2, alright, it uses the carbon dioxide and the charged batteries to make sugar, and it spits out uncharged batteries. And this part happens in the stroma. Here's a fun little review on photosynthesis.
That's all I'm going to teach about photosynthesis. Class, there will be a quiz on Monday. Have a good weekend.
Wait, Miss Greco, I'm still having trouble with photosynthesis.
Well, Jimmy, I think I have something that can help quite a bit. Here you go, Jimmy. This helped me when I was learning the concept.
But Miss Greco, the pages are blank.
Kwam, fly free, my little friend.
Oi, who are you, mate?
Hear me now. I'd be the sun. Me light and eat the earth. Me earja want to be learning more about the process known as photosynthesis. Got that?
Blimey, that would be superb.
Come with me then, Irie Eye. Guam, here we be at the place of photosynthesis.
Do you mean this flower here?
Hello, I'm carbon dioxide.
And I am oxygen.
And I'm Mickey Mouse, I mean, water. It's very nice to meet you all. Are you going to help me with photosynthesis?
Guam, of course we are. I'd be going first. I give the sunlight to the earth and the plant to make photosynthesis possible.
Well,
And me, carbon dioxide, enters the plant leaf. The plant uses me and changes me into oxygen which you breathe.
well, that's great, but
After the plant is finished with the carbon dioxide, he releases me, oxygen, into the air for all living beings to breathe.
yes, I know.
And my molecules split into hydrogen and oxygen to help photosynthesis happen. Photosynthesis also takes place in me,
Yes, I know all of these things. That's what I just learned today in biology class.
Oh. Who be your teacher?
Miss Greco.
Oh. Well, that be all we taught her too.
What?
Peace then, ja live.
Bloody hell.